Welcome back, dear viewers, and of course, Egypt celebrates on Thursday, today, the 9th anniversary of the June 30th revolution, and in this context, dear viewers, which made all Egyptians, of course, proud all over Egypt, to shed more light on the occasion of the 30th June revolution. We're joined over the phone with Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, former assistant for Foreign Minister. A very good day, sir. Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy. Egypt celebrates on Thursday the anniversary of the June 30th revolution, and Prime Minister, dear viewers, and of course it's fair to mention the Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, congratulated President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on this very occasion. Also, First Lady Mrs. Intisar al-Sisi also said a word that we will be shedding light on, and shed more light on the occasion of the 30th June revolution. We're joined over the phone with Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. A very wonderful day, sir, a pride for all Egyptians all over the world. And of course, Egypt on this day made clear to the entire world that Egyptians have a willpower, that no country and no citizens in any world have the same power and willpower. From your own perspective, sir, to which extent has Egypt succeeded to achieve the 30th June revolution's goals, especially preserving the Egyptian identity and the state's institutions?
Thank God, it's a very happy occasion. We enjoyed, especially as a diplomat, because we started to lose our touch of diplomacy. We started to be more and more closed country. We started to lose our friends and our alliances because they were looking differently to all Egypt's priorities. This is not Egypt, which we have seen during 1 year or a little bit more, during the rule of the Equan brothers. Now we are in a much better situation. We are open to our friends all over the world. We have seen our president travel from Tokyo in the Far East up till Paris in the Far West, going to New York, meeting 40 of his counterparts in 4 days. Going to Africa now, we have very active diplomacy in Africa, very active diplomacy with the Arab world, especially what we have seen during this week. Many Arab leaders are visiting Cairo. Our president is traveling a lot to see his counterparts in the Arab world. But also on the internal front, we gain a lot. Now we are adopting very courageous economic reform policy. I hope that we are on the right track, of course, that we are gaining every day new dimension of our economy. So we are on the right track. Of course, this is not the end. It is we are in the middle of a very ambitious road to make our citizens much more happier and very much opportunities for job for our new generation, better life in all dimensions of our life.
Okay, sir, the Egyptians demonstrated on the 30th of June against the terrorist group which targeted to conspire over the country. How could we preserve the achievements of this revolution?
I didn't believe myself because personally I confess that I hate crowded places. But I was invited.
Beg your pardon, you hate what, sir?
Crowded places. I hate crowds. So I didn't join what was happening in Tahrir Square.
You missed a lot, sir.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Because I was invited to talk to one international TV channel, and they were getting the studio in Semiramis Hotel. So I was looking from the 15th floor to what I couldn't believe. Who are they? Millions of people happy asking to this government to leave. I was convinced that Egyptians are leading their future. That was a good surprise for me. Of course, my daughters and grandsons were there, but as they say in Arabic, if you see, it's not like you hear. I have seen it myself during the night. The lights were impressive. So, thank God, we are in a much better situation. Also, I must stress that as a diplomat, I am more than satisfied for the development Egypt has made in the last 9 years.
Of course, sir, we have went a long way in the past 9 years, and of course, under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and all pride to all Egyptians for the achievements that Egypt has made and for the place of Egypt among all countries internationally, working national very hard on roads, on international relations between Egypt and other countries. The President has worked very hard, and it is, of course, all pride to all Egyptians. Latest developments that took place in the region during the past years have proved that the 30th of June revolution succeeded in returning Egypt back to the right track. How do you assess this, sir?
If you watch what is happening around us, that we have received four heads of states, whether the King of Bahrain, the Emir of Oman, the Royal Prince, the Royal Crown Prince of Arabia Saudi, His Royal Highness the King of Jordan. Many leaders are visiting our country. Our president now is in the Gulf. All these consultations in order to make a sort of an Arab front to prepare for the coming meeting for the Gulf states with the President of the United States. This is a serious matter unless we are well prepared to gather ourselves and to agree upon what we are going to tell him, what are our positions concerning what is happening in the world. Whether the economic
Sir, we don't need to tell. It's very obvious, and everyone says and talks about it everywhere, all around the world.
Yes, because we have...
So we don't need to tell. Our statements are already figured out.
Yes, we are facing international challenges, such as the corona impact.
We are one of the countries that overcome the coronavirus pandemic in a very professional way, and we did not close the entire country like other countries did, or most countries did.
We courageously faced the economic impact of the war in Ukraine. Now we are preparing for one very important international conference,
the COP27
in November. COP27, and we are well preparing this. Now, Cairo is one of the most crowded cities in the world of diplomats. We have missions from all over the world. We have missions, big-size missions. The Americans have an embassy in Cairo, the largest embassy all over the world. It is in Cairo. The Saudi embassy, you can see it on the River Nile in Giza, a building much taller than our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This means that everybody is seeking to see what Egypt is doing, to do business with us, to consult Egypt concerning what political or economic or cultural files. So we are there everywhere, and really, here I am proud of also gaining back our most important tool of diplomacy, which is the level of presidency. We were lacking our president 20 years before the revolution. We didn't see our president going to Africa or the Arab world or anywhere. Now we have
Djibouti, for example, sir, is President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is the first Egyptian president ever to go and visit Djibouti. You
Yes,
swear to
yes.
mention on this very special day?
But for me, much important sign that he went to Equatorial Guinea. I was non-resident ambassador in Equatorial Guinea because it was impossible to stay there. Very difficult environment of life. So he went there, he took with him the Arab constructor, he built an embassy. Now we have ambassador and the full embassy there. I was really, if I want to go to Equatorial Guinea, the president of Equatorial Guinea was hosting me in his own palace because there was no place to go. Now we have an embassy, we have full stuff of an embassy. And this is really something to notice, especially for an old diplomat like myself.
Mr. Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, your assessment with regards to the revolution, it helped Egypt to regain its status and leading role on both the regional and international levels, of course, under the auspices of President Fattah al-Sisi. So this is your conclusion for what you were saying.
Yes, one good thing that when the Europeans want to meet the whole Arab leaders, they came and see them in Sharm el-Sheikh. When the Europeans want to see all the African people, I have seen 68 head of states in our conference in Cairo, of the African-European Conference. This proves to you that Cairo really is always a candidate for very important meeting and for everybody to come and to see Egypt as Egypt and also Egypt as the most influential country in the whole African continent and in Africa. And we have excellent relations with Europe, of course, with the association agreement. Europe is appreciating the Egyptian role in fighting the organized crime, whether terrorism, whether drug trafficking, whether money laundering or illegal migration, and they are happy with what Egypt is doing against all these crimes. This is a proof that we are on the right track, that we are doing right, but as ambitious people, we are going to do much more for our country and for our friends also.
Sir, how do you weigh the economic reform achieved during the past years after the 30th of Revolution, June, of course, Revolution, despite the current challenges, and of course, to your knowledge, you know that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated many museums, for example, which enhances the economy, of course, because the tourism is one of the main income of economy in our country. Opening museums in Sharm el-Sheikh, opening museums everywhere, opening the Namek, opening the moving of the mummies, the Sphinx Avenue, which all the world watched us with all pride and dignity in light of the coronavirus pandemic. How do you read all this happening?
Thank God, I think we are lucky because we took the right
decision. Do you think we're lucky, or we have a challenging president and a challenging
we are lucky because God gave us a good present with the gas discoveries in our area. We are lucky that we are courageous people. We took the right decision to start our economic reform in November 2016. This made us, when we met the challenge of Corona, we are already standing on very strong feet. We are facing all these international challenges, while Egypt really is one rare country which is economic growth will be positive. You know that in China, in Europe, in the Americas, today on the newspapers, that they are diminishing. Egypt is increasing its economy by 5.7%, but we are keen to do this, more than this, because the good news that we gave birth in the last 11 years to 25 million children. This is as much as double country like Greece. So this is a challenge. We have to cover the needs of our new generation. That's why we have to double our effort, and this is what we are aiming to, what we are doing, inshallah.
Sir, after the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was very keen to strengthen the armed forces and to provide them with latest military support, what is your take on this? Of course, we know that Egyptian military is among the most strongest or the strongest all over the world.
It's quite well known that we are the largest populated country in the area. We are the most diversified economy and the strongest army in the area. It's number 12 in the whole world. And we are there, as our president said, wherever there will be a problem in any Arab country, we are there. We are helping all the military armies of the Arab world. If you go to our military institutions like Nasser Academy or our military academy, you will find tens of our brothers of military people training in Egypt. Also the maneuver between the Egyptian army and other armies such as the Emirates, the Saudi, even with our neighbors of the Mediterranean in Greece and Cyprus. So it is quite obvious that we have an army which we can depend on whenever we need.
Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, foreign, of course, assistant to the Foreign Ministry. We thank you very much for joining us in this very special day. Congratulating you, of course, and congratulating all Egyptians all over the world. And of course, on top of all, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his amazing effort in every single level all over the world. Mr. Ambassador Gamal Bayoumy, Foreign Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much for joining us in this very special day and in this very special coverage by Nile TV International.